Hey everybody, how's it going? My name is Will and welcome to Copper Jacket TV. So what an absolute nightmare. I mean, it was just a couple of days ago that I made a video talking about California's Glock ban and some important dates that we have coming up because there's this mad rush happening in California right now with everybody trying to get one before the ban takes effect. Even shops are struggling because they have until December 31st to find as much inventory as possible because on January 1st, they won't be able to get any more. Then I found out the very next day after I made that video that Glock decided to discontinue nearly all of their models except for like the slimline stuff. And apparently that includes all current roster approved Gen 3s. Now, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that it's going to have a huge negative impact on the people of California looking to get one before the ban starts and the shops who are trying to get as many as they can by the 31st. But it's also going to have a possible impact on the brand new lawsuit brought by the FPC, the 2AF, and the NRA called James v. Bonta, which is challenging the ban. However, there might actually just be a silver lining here that could end up saving the day and could see the new V series that they're talking about actually make it to the California market, which would be huge. So let's go ahead and talk about what's going on, how this is going to affect you, and what might end up being a good thing for California in the near future. Now, real quick before we get started, this video is proudly sponsored by American Heart for Gold. Listen, everybody in the firearms community understands the value of precious metals. Brass and lead could protect your life, but silver and gold can protect your savings. You know, in our lifetime, the dominance of the US dollar was supreme, but that may change soon. The stock market swings back and forth every day, and we're facing record inflation, increasing costs, and unprecedented tariffs. So don't let your life savings become a casualty of market crashes or tariff wars. In times of economic chaos like now, there is one currency that stood the test of time and continues to increase in value: physical gold and silver. Now, they can print more dollars, but they can't print any more gold. While the value of the dollar is tanking, the value of gold is hitting record heights, with many predicting that gold might reach $5,000 an ounce by the end of 2025. Now is the time to call the only precious metal dealer that I trust, American Heart for Gold. They'll show you how to protect your savings and retirement accounts by diversifying your wealth portfolio with physical gold and silver delivered directly to your door. You can also transfer your current retirement account into a gold IRA, tax and penalty free, with the finest products, amazing customer service, and buyback commitment. American Heart for Gold has a 5-star rating from thousands of reviews and an A+ from the Better Business Bureau. In a sea of anti-2A companies, American Heart for Gold proudly supports pro-2A content. If you contact American Heart for Gold today and tell them I sent you, they will give you up to $15,000 of free silver on your first order. So call them now. Click the link in the description or call 866-856-2507. That's 866-856-2507, or text COPPER to 65532. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about what's going on here. So the news of the week has been that Glock has decided to discontinue nearly all of their current models and replace them with this new V series that apparently won't accept a fun button. Now remember, the ban has nothing to do with that fun button. That's just the excuse that they use to ban the most popular pistol in the country. Now, the last day the old models will be available will be on November 30th. Apparently that's the last time they're going to be shipped out. That's obviously a huge problem for anyone in California who wanted to snatch one up before the ban, because it further limits the amount that is going to be available to shops before the 31st of December. I mean, things are already looking pretty bad. Most distributors have little to no inventory as it is. Now, add the fact that even the Gen 3s, the only model that's actually listed on the roster, are being discontinued to the equation, and good luck finding anything after the first of the year. Now, I can tell you right now that even here, there's a huge run on them. The new V series has people skeptical and unsure, and everyone's kind of running to the old tried and true. Now, one of the biggest problems linked to this issue is the roster itself. If it wasn't for the roster, Californians would be able to simply pick up the new V series, the moment it came out, but they can't. So hopefully we see cases like Rena v. Bonta eventually overturn the roster entirely. That's a case that's currently at the Ninth Circuit, and it's being handled by the FBC. Now, keep in mind that AB 1127 didn't actually ban Glock by name. It banned a feature, a specific type of trigger bar, so we're going to see multiple things drop off the roster here soon. Now, like I said in the beginning, there may actually be a silver lining here. In AB 1127, there is a provision that allows affected guns that were on the roster prior to January 1st of 2026 to make necessary changes to the design and reapply even without meeting certain roster requirements, as long as they submit it before January 1st of 2027. Here's exactly what it says. So it says right here in section 32103, a pistol may be submitted for testing described in section 32010 and added to the roster described in subdivision A of section 32015 without being subject to the requirements of subparagraph E or D of paragraph 2 of the subdivision A of section 31910 or the requirements of subdivision D of section 32010 if all of the following conditions are met. And those paragraphs and subparagraphs all have to do with the microstamping, LCIs, and MDMs. So basically what it's saying here is if it was on the roster on January 1st of 2026, or it was on there from before, and it's been on the roster so long that it was never subject to having those specific requirements like the loaded chamber indicators and such, then it has a chance of getting back on the roster if it meets the following criteria. So if this V series is their solution to the complaint that's listed in AB 1127 that got them banned, then California should be required to let the new model, which would now be the V series, back on the roster because, again, it corrects the issue listed in the bill. So there is still a chance that California could get the new model, which would be the same model that everybody across the country is going to have. Now, on the flip side, the one thing that could keep this thing from getting back on the roster would be if Glock made more changes than the changes that were necessary to be in compliance with AB 1127. So if they made a couple different design changes or different aesthetic features, there is the possibility that California could look at that and say, no, you made more changes than the changes that were necessary to come into compliance, and therefore we consider this to be something new and it has to have these additional features in order to get back on. You can always resubmit it another time or something like that. So again, it just has to be that one compliance change, and that can be the only thing that would be changed in order to get back on. So we're definitely walking a fine line here, because you know that California does not want these back on the roster. And again, they're going to get really nitpicky when this gets resubmitted, if they even decide to resubmit it at all. Now, there's still the issue of the lawsuit, which is James v. Bonta challenging California's AB 1127. This won't moot the lawsuit, but the fact that one of the main complaints in the lawsuit is the ban on Glocks that no longer exist on the market, it's going to make things definitely more challenging. To me, the real battle here is still the roster itself. Without the roster, it would be difficult to enforce pretty much all of this. So hopefully we end up winning the roster lawsuit on appeal, which is Rena v. Bonta. But either way, I mean, what a ginormous headache. I'm not happy that, Glock kind of caved to gun controllers, even though I do understand the financial pressure that they're under. I still think it's kind of a bad look on them. Not to mention that if the new versions aren't at minimum, as good as the previous versions, then I think you can stick a fork in them. They're done. There's just too many other good choices these days. So anyway, I wanted to let you know about that. I wanted to let you know about the good, the potential good at least, the bad, the negative, the ugly, and whatever else comes along with this, because it's just a complete shitstorm in California right now. So again, I just wanted to make you guys aware of those changes and what it might mean to you, the good people of California, the law-abiding people of California. So anyway, I want to thank you all very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thumbs ups are always appreciated, and you all have a great day.